Shelley. I'm reading on my Starbucks mocha cup, okay? The quote of the day. You'll never believe what the quote was. It was Madeleine Albright, former Secretary of State and UN Ambassador. And Madeleine has as her quote of the day for Starbucks. Now she said it, I didn't. She said, "There's a place in hell reserved for women who don't support other women." We're taking our case for reform and positive change to every America is fighting and isn't